Have you ever thought that living longer might come down to something as simple as how you wash your body? No, seriously, stay with me for a second. We all know to brush our teeth, maybe wash our hands before eating. But what if there's one little area of your body, something you overlook every single day, that's quietly working against you? What if missing it could slowly chip away at your strength, your immunity, even your heart health, and you didn't even realize it? Here's the truth most people won't tell you. As we get older, it's not always the big things that knock us off balance. It's the small things we ignore, habits we've carried for years without questioning. Hygiene isn't just about feeling clean. It's about protecting yourself, preserving your independence, and holding on to the energy you need to enjoy your life. And some body parts, if you leave them unchecked, they become hotspots for bacteria, inflammation, and worse, they may not cause pain right away, but they do start a silent chain reaction. And for those of us in our 60s, 70s, even 80s, that chain reaction can mean the difference between thriving or declining. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly which body part you need to wash every single day to help boost your chances of staying strong, mobile, and well, alive and kicking. It might not be what you expect, but by the time we're done, you'll understand exactly why it matters. So take a moment right now and drop a comment saying, "I'm here for a long life." Let me know you're with me. And if you're serious about staying healthy and independent as you age, hit that subscribe button for more simple, honest advice, right here on Elder Strength and Guidance. Number 1. The navel, belly button. Let me take you back to a story that might hit home for some of you. A caregiver, someone who loved her elderly father deeply, was bathing him one afternoon. As she moved gently over his body, she noticed something unusual. A strange, almost sour smell. First, she shrugged it off, but the odor didn't go away. It lingered, and as she looked closer, she saw redness around his navel, the belly button. It seemed like such a small area, but the reality hit hard. It wasn't just a smell. It was an infection, one that had been brewing for weeks, maybe longer, without her noticing. That infection, born from sweat, moisture, and years of neglect, had begun to spread. And for an elderly person, something as simple as a belly button infection can become dangerous quickly, leading to skin conditions or even more serious, systemic infections that could affect the whole body. Now, let's talk about the science behind it. You might think, it's just the belly button. What harm could it possibly cause? Well, here's the thing. Our navel is a hidden little cave where sweat, dirt, and oils tend to accumulate. In warmer weather, that moisture can build up and create the perfect environment for bacteria to thrive. As we age, our immune systems don't fight off infections as quickly as they used to, and something so small and easily overlooked can spiral into a major problem. That infection might start as something mild, but it can spread, especially in seniors whose bodies are already under pressure. You'd be surprised how something like this can lead to serious complications. And the worst part is no one talks about it. It's a hidden risk, but it's a real one. So here's the simple, practical advice. You can avoid all of this by cleaning your navel gently every day. Yes, I said every day. Use a cotton swab, a little mild soap, and make sure you dry the area well after. This doesn't have to be a big chore. Just a quick check as part of your daily hygiene routine. And if you live in a warmer climate, this becomes even more important. Sweat builds up faster, and without a clean belly button, you might end up inviting problems you never expected. But while the navel hides under our clothes, the next body part we're going to talk about, well, it's in plain sight. And let me tell you, it's just as risky if we neglect it. Number 2, the scalp. Now, let's talk about something else that often gets overlooked, your scalp. I want you to think of Mr. Thompson, a 72-year-old man who had been dealing with an uncomfortable issue for weeks. He kept complaining about itching, small scabs forming along his scalp. And honestly, he didn't think much of it at first. He just assumed it was dry skin or maybe a little irritation. But after some time, the situation got worse. The itching became unbearable, and those scabs started to get worse. He couldn't even sleep at night because the discomfort was keeping him up. What did it come down to? Simple. Mr. Thompson hadn't been cleaning his scalp properly in weeks. It wasn't just dry skin. It was the buildup of oils, dirt, and sweat that had turned into a breeding ground for fungus. Now, you might be wondering, how serious could it really be? Here's the thing. Poor scalp hygiene is more than just an inconvenience. Over time, it can lead to fungal infections or dandruff buildup, which can cause irritation and discomfort. But that's not all. If left unchecked, it can also affect your sleep and mood. Think about it, when you're constantly uncomfortable, you're more likely to become frustrated, stressed, and worn down. And with all of that, your overall health starts to suffer too. It's hard to stay positive when you can't get a good night's sleep because of an itchy, irritated scalp. Here's where the science comes in. As we age, our skin loses some of its natural oils and moisture, which is why it can get drier and more prone to irritation. But what a lot of people don't realize is that even if you're balding or have thinning hair, your scalp still needs regular cleaning. It doesn't matter if your hair's thin or barely there. Your scalp is still a living part of your body, and it needs the same attention that the rest of your skin gets. If you don't clean it regularly, all that oil and sweat will build up and create problems you definitely don't want. So, the advice is simple and straightforward. Wash your scalp gently every few days using a moisturizing shampoo. It doesn't have to be harsh or a long process, but it's an essential part of maintaining good hygiene as we age. Whether you have a full head of hair or you're rocking the bald look, don't neglect your scalp. It's just as important as any other part of your body. Now, if you thought that was important, wait until we talk about your mouth. If you wear dentures or partials, this next tip is something you really need to hear. Number 3. The gums and inside of the mouth. Let me share a story with you, one that really hit home for me. A woman, in her 70s, took her father to see his doctor after he started experiencing some troubling heart issues. He'd been feeling sluggish, more out of breath than usual, and sometimes his chest felt tight. After a thorough examination, the doctor made an unexpected connection. Her father's heart problems were actually linked to something most people wouldn't think twice about: his gums. For years, he had struggled with gum inflammation, and it had been left unchecked for far too long. What they didn't realize was that the bacteria from his gums had slowly traveled into his bloodstream, causing inflammation in his arteries. That inflammation led to the heart problems he was now facing. Now, I know this might sound shocking, but here's the science behind it. Poor oral hygiene doesn't just affect your teeth. It can deeply impact your overall health. When we let our gums become inflamed or infected, the bacteria from that infection can travel through the bloodstream and settle in other parts of the body. It can trigger systemic inflammation, which is directly linked to cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and other chronic conditions. It's not just about bad breath or gum pain. It's about the heart, the brain, and your body's ability to fight off illness. One of the biggest misconceptions is that if you wear dentures, you don't need to worry about cleaning your mouth as much. But that's not true. Dentures don't stop bacteria from building up on the gums, tongue, and inside of your cheeks. You can still get gum disease even if you don't have natural teeth. In fact, some studies suggest that people with dentures often overlook cleaning their gums properly because they focus so much on the dentures themselves. But your gums are just as vulnerable as your teeth, and that bacteria can lead to much bigger problems if left untreated. So, here's the advice I want you to remember. Whether you have natural teeth or dentures, you need to brush your gums, your tongue, and the inside of your cheeks every single day. And don't just use any toothpaste. Use one with antibacterial properties to help fight the bacteria that cause gum disease. Also, rinse with an antibacterial mouthwash to keep things clean and fresh. It doesn't take much time, but it can make a world of difference for your heart, brain, and overall well-being. Now, while your mouth is a gateway to so much of your health, the next body part we're going to talk about affects your immune system directly, and trust me, you don't want to overlook this one either. Number 4. The underside of the feet. Let me take you to another serious, yet often overlooked, area. The underside of your feet. It's not something we think about every day, but it can be a ticking time bomb if we're not careful. A man in his early 70s, diabetic for many years, didn't think much of a small cut he noticed on the sole of his foot. It wasn't deep, just a tiny tear, barely noticeable. He thought it would heal on its own, but days turned into weeks, and soon, that small wound became infected. It started out as a little redness, then swelling, and before he knew it, the infection had spread. By the time he sought medical attention, the infection had reached the point where doctors were talking about possible surgery, and even the possibility of amputation. Why? Because, for seniors, particularly those with diabetes or reduced circulation, it doesn't take much for a small cut to become a life-threatening issue. Seniors have reduced sensation in their feet. This is a fact we often overlook. As we age, our nerves in the feet can become less sensitive. That means we might not feel small injuries like cuts, blisters, or abrasions right away. And if those wounds aren't addressed promptly, they can escalate quickly into ulcers, infections, or worse. A diabetic person, for example, has a much higher risk because the body's ability to heal is compromised. If left unchecked, even a tiny scratch can lead to severe consequences. That's why something as simple as not noticing a small cut on your foot can, over time, turn into a huge health crisis. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If I cover my feet with socks, it's clean, right? Unfortunately, that's not the case. Just because your feet are covered doesn't mean they're free from dirt, sweat, or bacteria. Socks can trap moisture, and moisture plus warmth equals the perfect breeding ground for infections. So, while you might not feel a cut or irritation, it's still there, silently causing harm under the surface. The advice here is simple but crucial. Wash your feet thoroughly every day. Not just a quick rinse. Really clean between your toes, around your heels, and the soles of your feet. Use mild soap, and make sure to dry them completely. Any moisture left behind can encourage fungal growth. And don't just wash your feet. Inspect them. Take a few moments each day to check for cuts, blisters, redness, or anything unusual. It may seem like a small thing, but doing this every day can save you from a world of trouble down the line. Now, we've covered some critical spots so far, but the next body part we're about to discuss? Well, it's one that affects your immune system directly and plays a major role in your daily comfort and overall health. Trust me, you won't want to skip this one. Number 5. Underneath skin folds. Neck, groin, underarms. Now, let's talk about an area that most of us don't pay much attention to, but it can be a breeding ground for trouble if neglected. Underneath the skin folds. I'm talking about the neck, groin, and underarms. These are the areas where moisture tends to build up and gets trapped, and that's where trouble can start. Take Mrs. Lane, for example. At 79 years old, she'd always been active and maintained decent hygiene, but she started to notice some irritation under her arms. It wasn't painful at first, just a bit of redness, maybe a little rash, but over time it got worse. The rash turned into sores, and the skin became inflamed. She saw her doctor, who explained that this could have been prevented with better hygiene, particularly paying attention to the areas where moisture gets trapped in skin folds. What started as a minor irritation soon became a major health issue, all because of an area that gets ignored more often than not. Here's the science behind it. When we get older, the skin becomes thinner and less elastic, and areas like the neck, groin, and underarms are naturally more prone to sweating and retaining moisture. When moisture lingers, it creates the perfect environment for bacteria and fungi to grow. Over time, these microorganisms cause infections, rashes, and even sores. The more moisture, the more they multiply, and before you know it, you're dealing with painful, itchy, and sometimes even dangerous conditions. This can lead to an unpleasant odor, and if untreated, the infection can spread, potentially affecting other parts of the body. It's not just about comfort, it's about your health. And here's the common misconception: if it doesn't hurt, it's fine. Many people ignore the signs of irritation in skin folds, thinking it's just a minor inconvenience that will go away. But the truth is, if you don't address it, it can lead to much more serious complications. Minor rashes or irritation can escalate quickly, and by the time they become painful or infected, the damage may already be done. And for seniors, a small irritation left untreated can spiral into much larger health problems, weakening the body's defenses and creating a cycle of discomfort and illness. So what's the best way to handle this? First and foremost, wash these areas gently but thoroughly every day. Use a mild soap and make sure to dry the skin completely, especially under the folds where moisture tends to get trapped. If you're in a warmer climate or just sweat more, Consider using drying powders to absorb moisture, or opt for breathable fabrics like cotton to keep the area dry and comfortable. It's not about scrubbing harshly, but rather being consistent with your care to avoid infections before they start. Taking just a few extra minutes each day to care for your skin folds can save you a lot of pain and discomfort in the future, and avoid a host of potential health issues. Now, all of these areas we've talked about, your navel, scalp, gums, feet, and skin folds, may seem small in the grand scheme of things. But let me tell you, ignoring any of them can have consequences that go far beyond inconvenience. They can affect your comfort, your dignity, and even your independence as you age. And that's something we can't afford to overlook. I know this isn't easy to hear, especially when it comes to caring for yourself or a loved one. It's tough, isn't it? To accept that as we age, our bodies need more care, more attention. And it's even harder when we see those changes in the ones we love. Watching someone we care about face health challenges can feel overwhelming. You want to do everything you can, but sometimes the task feels so big, so daunting. Maybe you've noticed these signs before and felt powerless, like you're just waiting for something bad to happen. The truth is, these changes are part of the aging process. But that doesn't mean we have to surrender to them. It's not about fear, it's about being proactive. It's about making small choices that can have a huge impact on your health and your life. And the more you know, the more empowered you become. This isn't about letting fear take over. It's about taking control of your health. You now have the knowledge you need to recognize the signs and take action before things spiral. By understanding the simple steps we've discussed, keeping the navel clean, washing your scalp, brushing your gums, caring for your feet, and being mindful of those skin folds, you're giving yourself the chance to live longer, stronger, and more independently. These are small actions, but they're not insignificant. They can help you hold onto your dignity, your comfort, and even your mobility. You're not fighting age, but you're working with it. You're choosing to stay ahead of the curve, not wait for problems to come knocking at your door. Now, I want you to do something right now. I'm asking you to pick just one of these areas tonight, just one. Could be your feet or maybe your gums. Whatever resonates with you most. Take a few minutes, check in on how well it's being cared for, and start making it a priority. Tomorrow, don't let it be a one-time thing. Turn it into a habit, something that's part of your routine. The first step is always the hardest, but once you make it a habit, it becomes second nature. And you'll start to feel the difference, not just physically, but emotionally. You'll feel a sense of pride in yourself for taking control. You'll feel empowered, knowing you're doing everything you can to stay healthy. You're not alone in this. I want you to remember that. There's a whole community here, learning, growing, and supporting one another. Whether it's through this channel or through family, you're not walking this path by yourself. Every small act you take, whether it's washing your feet, caring for your gums, or simply being mindful of your health, it's a step in the right direction. It's a step toward a longer, healthier life. So, don't let fear hold you back. Don't let the challenges of aging make you feel defeated. You have the power to create change, and it starts with the small, everyday things. And remember, small acts lead to big changes. Each day is another chance to make a difference in your life, to show yourself and your loved ones that you're still strong, still capable, and still here for the long haul. Keep going. Keep caring. Because you deserve it. Now, let's keep this momentum going as we wrap things up. Stay strong, stay informed, and remember, we're all in this together. You've got this. So, to recap what we've covered today, these are the 5 crucial areas to wash every day. Your navel, scalp, mouth, feet, and the folds of your skin like the neck, underarms, and groin. I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me, neglecting any one of these can invite serious health risks, especially as you get older. It's easy to overlook, but these small areas can cause big problems if left unchecked. Whether it's infections, discomfort, or something more serious, giving attention to these areas can really make a difference in your overall well-being. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these areas surprised you the most? Maybe it was the navel, something you never thought twice about. Or perhaps you're realizing how easy it is to miss simple care for your feet. Or was it the skin folds that you now realize need a little more love and attention? Whatever it is, tell us in the comments. I personally read every single one. It's important to share these experiences because Together, we can learn from each other and make sure we're all on the right track. If this video helped you or someone you love, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Here at Elder Strength and Guidance, we're committed to giving you practical, loving, and science-backed advice that'll guide you through the journey of aging gracefully. Each week, we dive into topics like these, with the goal of making your life easier, healthier, and more fulfilling as you age. Thank you for taking the time to watch today. Remember, aging doesn't have to be about loss. It's about taking control, staying aware, and showing kindness to yourself and your loved ones. You're stronger than you think, and every small step you take toward caring for your health makes a world of difference. Stay strong, stay aware, and stay kind. I'll see you in the next one.